becoming truly free. I want to ask you the question, is freedom important to you? And I'd like to see a show of hands. Freedom, is this one of your top values? Oh, yes, yes. Up there, yes. Freedom is also my top value. As I said, I grew up in an abusive family, and every dream as a child and as a teenager was for me to run away from home. So I had various plans of how will I achieve that. But unfortunately, I couldn't leave home until I finished university. It was just not possible. I grew up in a communist country, and that freedom became even more important to me because everybody was speaking about. When I finished university, the first thing I did, I took a job 7 hours away by train from where my parents were. And later, I came to Canada to put an ocean between me and them. And I thought, when I came to Canada, and even when I first left home, I felt so free. I said, this is it. This is what I've been searching for my whole life, the freedom. But after a while, I noticed that my thoughts were still matching what I've learned from home. I was still feeling lonely. I was still feeling weird. I was still feeling not good enough. When I came to Canada, I had very much success, like a lot of financial success and a lot of success. I found my dream job and I promoted every 2 years. But somehow, I wasn't still not happy. I was still not, something was not working for me. I was still stressed out. So I realized that I crossed the ocean, but I took the chains with me. So my journey was, and still is, to let go of those chains. To find the freedom inside of myself. Because I'm free, I can go to parties. When I was a kid, I couldn't go to Sweet 16 parties with my friends because I wasn't allowed. Now I'm free to go everywhere. So the freedom is not the external freedom that is important. I believe that inner freedom is even more important than outer freedom. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's say your story is different. You maybe grew up in a free country like Canada, and maybe you grew up with loving parents. Should you care about freedom? The questions are this: are you mostly stressed? Sometimes for days. Maybe some of you are, some of you not. But the question is, are you stressed? Is there not enough time in your day? Are you in a job that you're not fulfilled, or even in a business that you're not fulfilled? So if you answer yes to any of those questions, then maybe it's time for you to search for inner freedom. And I believe we are meant to strive, not just survive. I've seen many people going from day to day, oh, today it's another day. Oh, and it's Christmas, and we have to do the shopping. And I find that that's not life. Like life is, if you don't like shopping for Christmas, don't do it. Who says you have? You are free to do what makes you happy. So my message and my desire is to awaken as many people to feel the difference. Like, I'm stressed. I don't want to be stressed. What can I do to move to my joy? And it's a journey, it's a discovery. I'm not happy and cheerful all day long, every day. There are times when I'm not, but I know how to ask. I don't just go, surviving for me is not the norm, it's not the standard in my life. There are periods of life when you have to survive, you deal with difficulties and you have to survive. But I look at the end and I look, how can I heal myself fast enough to be able to thrive? I looked in the dictionary, knowing the English being my second language, I always look in the dictionary to see what being free means. So it means not being under the control or in the power of another, to be able to act and do as one wishes. The Christmas shopping is one example. Not physically restrained, obstructed, or fixed. And not subject or constrained by engagements and obligation. And that's why the question is, there is not enough time in your day, is probably because you are constrained by engagements and obligations that do not move your life forward, do not fill your cup, do not fulfill you. And those are places where you can look. So, from what I said so far, I hope you understand that freedom is the external and internal. And in that picture, that's from Doreen Virtue's angel cards. You see the free birds, the birds who are free, they fly away because the door is not even there. But there is one bird that she's not even flying because she just got used to be in the cage. And that's the sad part. And I feel that if we are to fulfill our purpose and be in our purpose and become the best people that we can become, inner freedom is what we're searching for. So I like the picture, I found it on Google, like on the puppets. Obey, follow, conform, fit in. That's what the word sometimes we feel tells us. But we don't have to listen. Because what happens, we listen, another person listens, and then we create the norm. Like people think these days that stress is the norm. Don't you think? Why is stress the norm? I think we're here to change that, and I'm definitely here to speak about it. You have the right to be you. You have the right to know what's good for you. That's why you don't want to follow the crowd. You want to ask yourself, is this something I would like to do? Yes, no, maybe. Let me think about it. But just not because somebody else does it, you feel that you have to do it. Because like everybody's stressed for Christmas. I always take this example because personally I don't have a big family and I wish I had a big family to cook for and buy gifts for. So when I hear people stress for Christmas, I'm a bit jealous in a sense, if you may. Because I miss that closeness and let's wrap the gifts. So if you don't feel that that's something you like to do, don't do it. You have the freedom to be you and celebrate in any way or form that you want. And for people who Christmas is not what they celebrate, I just translate it into your own celebrations. So in my journey, I discovered some steps to becoming truly free. And those are actually the big sections of my book. And when I work with people, I also see that they are kind of valid. So I'll share them with you, and you will have a chance to ask me questions later on. So first and foremost, let go of the need to prove yourself. Right? Because we're definitely not free when we try to impress, when we try to prove. Because that means we feel that we should act in a certain way to please somebody. And then we don't even know if that person can be pleased. Why do we prove ourselves? Why do we have the need to prove ourselves? Is because we feel we're not worthy, right? So if I gain your approval, that's why I came and talked to everyone, right? So I already gained your approval in some sort of way. I'm a nice person, I came talk to you. So if I want to gain your approval, I am trying to appease you, and I may not be the natural self that I can be. And usually there will be people who kind of get that, and they will say, I don't know about her. It's like, So, and then I don't even know if you're going to like me, right? It's being you. People who are meant to be with you in your life, in your journey, will like you. And there will be people who says, she is ballooning, and will not want to be with you. But that's okay, because when you are with someone that doesn't matches you, then you struggle. So you create more problems. One of my clients was telling me yesterday that she had a client for 11 years, and she knew from day one that that's an abusive client. Like, she was giving birth to her son, and he wanted her in his office to do the papers, right? So she knew, and the 11 years she put up with him because she tried to please him. But if she wouldn't have, if she would have said what she felt, we'll save 11 years of grief. And she doesn't even need those money, because I understand when you need the money and you need to put yourself through some hardships, then at least you know for what you're doing it. But she didn't even need that. So decide not to suffer anymore. Know that you're worthy. Know that you're good enough just the way you are. And don't prove yourself to anyone. And I like this. The universe thought you were a good idea. So why argue with that? The next step is to investigate the past pain, grieve it and release it, and to recognize your feelings and be honest with yourself. So when I left home, I said, okay, past, a new country, in a new environment, nobody knows my name, nobody knows about my family, nobody knows anything, and I felt the past is past. But when I went through the stress and almost burning myself out, I realized that the wounds are still there. It just had a band-aid and I didn't see it. Do you know that you cannot heal a wound if you put a band-aid, like the wound needs the fresh air and to heal? So it is very nice to actually look at the past. And it may be a little bit painful, and it may be a bit nasty and ugly, but it's only for a bit. It's only a little bit of looking at something that you don't like, but then it heals and you just have a scar that doesn't mean anything. Like, where I have a scar, this, for example, doesn't mean anything. It's just there. I can still see it when I look in the mirror, but it doesn't hurt. I still remember, we always want to remember our story, because as you will see later on, the pain leads you to your purpose. You still want to remember the story, but to have it in a way that is not painful anymore. So this is very important. And to recognize your feelings, I take my clients through an anger exercise, and when we started, there are people saying, dealt with that, no anger for me. And then you see them writing. It's still good to recognize the anger, to recognize the sadness, and deal with it and release it. Rather than say, no, I'm grown up now, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it happened a long time ago. I understand we're all perfect. She did the best she could, or he did the best he could. They did, but still you have to claim what hurt in you and say it, at least to yourself, and heal it. The third step is to let go of responsibilities that are not yours and become a kid again. I don't know how you grew up, but I lost my childhood like very early. I didn't get to play. When I was 6, my brother was born and I had to take care of him. I couldn't go out and play. So I became a very serious person, and even to this day I'm a bit on a serious side. I'm exploring more and more of my child side. And I feel that we're not completely free until we have the ability to play and be silly and paint again and take music again. Whatever calls to you, whatever maybe you wanted to do as a child, try to do it now. Find a way to do it now. And let some responsibility be theirs or whomever. And I know some of you have kids and you feel like you need to be a good mother, but that's also teaching responsibility to your kids when you say, well, you're old enough for you to do this. Or even if they're young. I feel that we're all responsible for our lessons, for ourselves, and joy and innocence and play are very important part of being truly free. Some of what holds us from doing things is fear, right? Agree? There's a lot of fear that, even a little fear that holds us back from being all that we can be. And it's a practice to feel safe. Like some people ask me, can I trust? I want to start a partnership with this person. Can I trust that person? It's generally business in my case. And I say, no. You don't need to trust that person. You need to trust yourself. To trust yourself to be mature enough to take the good and the bad that will come your way. To be careful, to pay attention. So it's up to you to protect yourself rather than putting your full trust, full energy into another person to meet your expectation. First, meet your own expectation. Make sure that you're looking at documents, that you're looking at things that you need to look to be protected, and then you can work with other people, you can be with them, you can interact with them and adjust. You can trust them today, then you observe again. If something feels weird, then you think about it and you address it. So learn to be your own hero. I like to be my own hero, and I've been in both places. I took a lot of charge of my life, did everything by myself. I put myself through university when my father wanted me to be a hairdresser. And I was living in their house. So it's quite hard for a kid below 20 to withstand that pressure of get a job, why you're not good enough, like who told you can go to university, like look at your grades, come on, like be real. You're lazy, you want to stay home thinking that you go to university. And I had a drive and a resolve in me that I put myself through university on my own, with my own, like I went and made some money. And I stood that. So I learned very early to be my own hero. Then as I progressed through life, it came a point when I wanted to be other people to take care of me. Like we all have that desire once in a while to be saved. We feel that someone will come to save us. I know in Christianity, like they feel that the Savior will be coming. But it's us that is going to save us, and it's us that we're going to trust in. And we're on our own hero. And the last bit to become truly free is to let go of struggle and confusion. And this also comes from people. When we take our cues from other people, it's a bit confusing. Because as I explained earlier, some days, and I grew up with a very critical mother, and I would always try to please her and make her happy, and what worked today may not work tomorrow. So it was very difficult for me to figure out what's right. And I discovered through my journey that when you guide yourself by universal laws, by beauty, compassion, love, the law of attraction, your feeling, something that's universal. And I love this quote, gravity is not just a good idea, it's a law. When you feel good, if something feels good to you, do it. If something doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. Think about it. This is how you guide yourself. And also I say that I can only make one person happy, and that person is I. If I were to choose between making Lorraine happy or making myself happy, I'll have to choose me, because at least I'm sure I can be happy. If I try to make her happy, I'm not sure that she can be happy today. So then I may feel bad about myself. Make sense? So this is what I had to say about inner freedom. By claiming your inner freedom, you walk in peace, you sleep in peace, and you interact with others in peaceful ways. And if we want the world to be a better place, to be a more peaceful place, the peace starts inside. With the inner freedom also comes inner peace.